Hello, Victor here at restoreyourmercedes.com. This video is for Jack in Canada. Alright Jack, so I finally started on one of the last jobs here with your car, and that would be the control arm bushings. So basically, to remove them, I remove control arm. I mean, there is a possibility to do it. Okay, hello. It's very windy today, so I just want to show you the condition, because I'm not going to make a video about the other side just as bad as this one. So first things first. Oh god, it's windy, it's nasty today, but at least it's warm. Control arm had to come out, obviously. Like I said, there is a way doing it without removing the control arm, but it's just crazy. So obviously the spring has to be compressed. I put zip ties so the spring remains in the same exact location. It appears to be that it was replaced at some point, because it's not cracked on the bottom. Usually they all crack on the bottom. So I don't know what it says. Officially imported Mercedes-Benz. Officially import. Okay, well, the sticker obviously would have not survived after all these years, and also these little things. This is like part numbers here, so that's good news, because usually springs, they crack right at the bottom, and this one is okay. It's not cracked, as you can see. Now this is the spring compression tool. So I usually keep spring inside the car. I don't remove the spring before I take the control arm out, but I compress it and I suspend it. These things obviously just hold it so it doesn't fall down, so I don't have to maneuver it when I install control arm back. Ball joint and bolts very tight, very rusty. There's a ball joint right there, difficult to remove obviously because of the rust and age. Well, salt climate, what are you gonna do? Same for the shock. The shock is not leaking, and it appears that it is a replacement shock also, which is actually a good news for you as well. It says 03, so it appears that this strut, this shock absorber, was replaced in 10th month of 2003. This is nice because these are very expensive, because this is a ADS shocks. You have this solenoid block, so that's good. The rest of the suspension seemed to be alright. You replaced a lot of things. It looks like the whole suspension is done except for control arm bushings. Now let's go to bushings themselves. Hey Mookie. Hey Mooks. Mookie. There's the cat. Mookie, say something. I know you can talk. Oh, he's just hanging out here with me. Alright, so here is the control arm, and we have front bushing, rear bushing. Now this is hydraulic bushing, and this is one is done. I mean, you can move it by hand extremely easily. You have rips over here, and everything is very dire. The bushing is stretched very hard, and it's all messed up. Front one is no better. The front one is all deformed pretty badly. As you can see, it's pulling out, it's all squashed, and it's not even centered in the control arm itself. If you look, I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but if you look on the centering, it's not even centered. It's just completely shifted, so it's completely worn out based on the rust. Obviously this appears to be original. This is a 1995 made bushing. Cannot read any numbers, cannot read anything. Also, as you can see, the centering went away. These notches supposed to be centered against each other, so they're not even in a straight line. So this is like they're gone. Both of them are gone. Control arm itself is okay. I mean, you know, obviously there's some rust here and there, but what are you gonna do? It's an old one. So I'm gonna clean up a little bit over here, the spring seat, but still not as horrible as it could be. That I'll clean up later. And the fun part is to replace them. So I'm replacing them with these are polyurethane bushings, non-directional. It's just difficult to push them in because they're very hard. But I'll remove the sleeve, obviously, the metal sleeve, and I'll push just rubber in. I'll use my press. These bushings are two-part. These are easier to put in. So this is where we are. It's both sides. So right now I just wanted to do one side, obviously, and move on to the other side. The car, I mean, I always use two jacks for securing the vehicle, and that jack over there, that's working jack. I move it from place to place. But I have one jack stand there and the other one is over here. That's like an auxiliary, that's a primary. But in any event, the weight is spread between the two because they're both under pressure. It's just safety first situation here. The control arm bolts, like this one, as you can tell, this one was in there all right. It was pretty tight, but I did put notches on to, I don't know if you can see, probably you can't see, but just to keep alignment together. You will have to do alignment regardless. Just to keep alignment together, let me show you real quick. This is the rear bolt. You see there's a notch over here. With a chisel I made it, so I'll put these things back the same way they were, so alignment will be more or less together. So this is the front. Same goes for the rear bolt. Also a little notch. Just keep them separate like that. So yes, this is where we are, and this is a pain of a job, but because, you know, the spring and then bolt joint separation, and then now I have to press these out and push other ones in. This one I'll torch out. This one I have to work with chisel, so chisel is there. So I'll move on. Okay, so this is that. So what we're gonna have left is the power steering valve activation, and something is making this rubbing sound from suspension here, so I'll see what we're gonna do with that. I'm gonna have to raise the rear and see whichever side is making the noise, because the brakes are pretty bad, but like, I don't know if you can see them. I don't know if you can see it on camera. I can't see nothing. Yeah, so the rotors, I mean, they have gouges. They will work, don't get me wrong. It's just that maybe these are the ones that rub, or maybe a heat shield or something. The actual pad, if you see it on in this video, the pad, I'm trying to make you this shot here, because I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's like right there. It's very, and right there, bottom center, that is your pad. So the pad is pretty high, so there is lots of brake, the friction, there's lots of friction material left, but the rotors are not so good. But again, fronts are pretty much new, it appears, so we're good in this department. Yeah, these look new. You see, you got bevel, and pads are very high, so we're good. All right, so I'm gonna leave it to it, and I'll move on with pressing bushings out and pressing new ones in, and reinstall control arm and move on to the other side. I really want to finish today. It's almost 4 o'clock already, but again, because it's a good day today, I decided to do it, because weather is changing and I still have 3 more project cars to go through, so I need to get this one finished. The engine and everything is finished, so belt is installed, everything is done, all the covers are installed. The HVAC valve I showed you before, that was pretty much, it's all done. This is the last one. It's power steering valve activation and suspension grind, and that's it. I don't see anything really wrong with this car anymore. The wiring harness that we spoke about, I'm gonna leave it alone, because there's your harness right there. See, somebody tried to do something with it. See the wires? So I'll leave it. It's pretty much working, so if it fails, you can always remove and mail it to me. I can rewire it later. but for now it should be okay. Alright, so this is all for me for now. This is for Jack in Canada, and this is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com.